Imagine that you're all alone in Brazil. It's a quite big country, so close to dying and nobody knows it. In this video, I'm going to share a really scary, hardcore, powerful story. The worst is it's true, and some of it is pretty funny, but it's not funny at all. And I'll see what comes out of me. It's just from my heart, no script at all here, but it's true. So hang on here and just feel with me, see if you resonate with this. And also there will be some learnings in this video, some hardcore learnings too. And my purpose in sharing this is actually for you to see if you resonate with it. Think about this, how it relates to your life, your priorities in life. So it's 2010, it's June, and I'm in Brazil. I'm in Brazil because my ex-wife is pregnant with my daughter. And we are in Brazil because my ex-wife is Brazilian, and at that time she didn't have a Danish passport, so we had to have her being in Denmark 3 months at a time, and that's why I was there. So I had 2 weeks of holiday to be there and to prepare and be with my ex-wife and my daughter as she arrived to this world. We didn't know how long, we didn't know when she was going to come, arrive my daughter. We didn't know how long it would take or anything. I just crossed my fingers that she would be there within the 2 weeks. And at that time, since I was very much by myself in Denmark, I had my company, I was working in the coffee shop company, and I also did stuff beside that to make sure that I could pay off my $1.5 million debt. I'll talk more about that in other videos. But I was training hardcore to do an Ironman. It was one of my goals. I did do a marathon, and I'll do a video about that because that's a story in itself. But I was running, swimming, doing whatever I could in Brazil to keep up with my schedule, to get some training in, to get some kilometers in my legs. The only thing was that it was very hot, and obviously I was very excited about my kid, my daughter, coming to this world. So I was running, and the day this happens, I am running by the beach, everything is good, but then there's a pain in my stomach. And I felt that the days before, but I didn't really react to it. And I kept running, but the pain as I ran just got more and more heavy. So I came home and I felt bad. And my ex-wife told me, I think it's gonna be today. And I'm like, wow, exciting. So we packed all the stuff and we went to I don't know what it's called in Brazil, but to a hospital where she could deliver. We were there and my pain in my stomach just got worse and worse, like really fast. And I was sitting there waiting, and suddenly she came in. I would say finally, because we waited a long time and I was there with her family, and I was feeling more and more pain. So I told the family that I would go to the bathroom. At the bathroom, the pain got even worse. I mean, really bad. And I just went down like this, really like this, and I went all the way down. So at last I lay on the bathroom floor. I lay in the position where I was just crumbled together. I felt sweat all over my body, and I was like, something is wrong here, but I don't know what it is. And finally I was like, okay, take myself together. My kid, my daughter's just she's coming now. So I went back, and they went like, they just been here and she's giving birth now. At that hospital, I don't know if it's the same in all over Brazil, but at that hospital men cannot go in with the woman. So I was sitting outside. And finally they came like and said, well, you can say hello to your daughter. And I was just like, I forgot about the pain, I forgot about everything. And I just stood up and I walked straight with the doctor or what that person was, went, and I saw my daughter. She was there, this small beauty with her brown or black big eyes, just looking up at me for a second or so, and I was just like, boom! Wow! Something happened inside of me. I forgot all about the pain, all about the pain. And that was how much I could see my daughter at that point. I was told that everything was good and they would go back to the apartment as soon as possible. And I was just like, I told the family that I would take a cab and I would go home. I felt bad and like this, so I went home. I lay there in my bed in the apartment and I felt the pain again, and it was just getting really bad. Took up my phone, but I had no connection at that time in Brazil. The Wi-Fi didn't work and I couldn't really get hang of anybody. At that time it would be like nighttime in Denmark, where my family was. I tried to call, I couldn't call anybody. There was no connection to people. So I was there all by myself. The family knew I was in the apartment, but I didn't tell them how bad it was because I forgot all about it. And I was just beginning to be really afraid, like really afraid, because that pain was too much for me. I took my wallet, I took my phone, and I was like, I need to go to a hospital. I was in Brazil. I didn't know anything about hospitals. The place with my wife, that's not a hospital. It's only for women for giving birth. I went down, and actually when I came down the apartment, I only had a t-shirt on, I only had shorts on, and then my wallet and a phone and the key for the apartment. And I was actually like, I couldn't really walk, so I was like, I don't know what that is in English, but I was nearly like on my knees and on my hands. It was really bad, like really bad. I think at a point I was actually crawling, so much pain. So I finally got a cab, because there was like 2 or 3 cabs just driving by me. Even though I tried to get them, I think there was like, no, I don't want that guy with me. Got a cab. I tried. My Portuguese is not very good. I tried to explain him my pain and a hospital, and he understood that. Most people in Brazil, they don't speak English, but he understands hospital. He drove me to a hospital, a Portuguese hospital, very huge, very beautiful building. I went in there and I tried to explain my pain. Then they told me I had to sit down and wait. And I waited, and my pain was just not to bear. I just had my daughter coming. She just arrived like a few hours earlier. My ex-wife didn't know I was there. Nobody knew I was at the hospital. I couldn't get hold of anyone. I was sitting in a hospital with pain in my stomach, feeling so much pain. Sweat dripping from me, and I looked like, I don't know, sitting there in my t-shirt and sweaty and all of that. And finally they came, and they kind of explained me that I needed to pay something like, I can't remember the amount, but maybe something like $1,000 or $2,000 US. And I was, for what? And they told me for just to see a doctor. Now, at that time, I was in big debt, like $1.5 million US, and I had big troubles with financial stuff, like big troubles. If I didn't already do, there will be another video about that. So for me, $1,000 or $2,000 US was a lot of money. And I really need to think about that. And I asked them, so what from then? But I didn't really, they couldn't understand me. I didn't understand them. That was a problem. Think about being there all by yourself in Brazil. You're not in contact with anybody. You cannot phone anybody. You don't know what to do. You are in big, huge pain. Fearful, what is the pain? And you don't understand what the people are saying. So I was really thinking about, did I actually have the money on my credit card? And I decided, okay, let's do it. So I tried, I put the credit card through, and then they told me to sit and wait. I said, wait again? I feel like I'm dying here. I had to wait. So finally I went to see a doctor, and the doctor looked at me and looked through me and all of that. Then everything went pretty fast. But they took me aside and they set me in a wheelchair, and they explained to me the best they could. And I said, I don't understand. And finally they understood I didn't understand. So they called a doctor who actually could explain to me in English that was kind of understandable. Now the doctor told me and showed me at the last he had to show me on a those plastic bodies. So I gather out in my mind that what happened was my appendix is the name. It was what's that name? It was very bad, infected. And this doctor told me that I had to make a decision because they were afraid it was going to blow. And if that happened, it might be that I would not be alive anymore. I said, okay, so let's do it. And he said, there's just one thing. And I said, okay, what is it? He said, well, there's a payment here. And I said, more money? And he said, yeah, you need to pay for the operation. This is a private hospital. I said, so how much are we talking about? And he said, like, in US dollars, it's gonna be around 16 or 17,000 US dollars. One more time, remember, I had no money, right? I didn't have any money. I had a big debt. I had a big problem. I mean, I didn't have those money. I only owed a lot of money to the bank and to other people. And I was like, I asked this doctor, okay, what if I don't have the money? Well, he said, then the best thing I can do is to put you in a cab, and then you need to go to a public hospital. I said, so is that bad, or could that work? He said, one problem is we don't know when it's gonna explode. And if that happens, and we can't put you in surgery, you might die. You're really bad right now, my friend. I was like, okay, that's not good. So I said, but what if I get to a public hospital? He said, well, then you don't have to pay. I said, that's good, isn't it? Yeah. He said, so I said, is that a problem? He said, you need to be in line. In line? Yeah, you need to be in line. That's the way it works. So you mean I could sit there and I might die while I sit waiting? He said, yes. That happens. And I was like, no, it can't be. But I knew a little bit about Brazil, so I knew that might be right. So I said, so okay, if I sit there, take me in, and they see I'm very bad, and they take me in, I get what will then happen? He said, well, two things can happen. You can get a good doctor or a surgeon, or you can better get a bad one. And I cannot tell you what will happen. So maybe you wake up and maybe you don't. And I'm like, at that point, I'm thinking, is this like a joke? Is he trying to sell me into this? It was a big hospital. And I mean, I'm sitting there and literally, like, this is real, sorry for the language here, it's real shit. I'm sitting there and I'm kind of dying. And I don't know if it's going to happen right now or in a few minutes. And I have to make a decision. If I take my whole life and I just say it might be over, to go to a public hospital. So I'm thinking, but I don't have any money. And I'm getting really scared. So I said to the guy, okay, you know what? If I can borrow a phone, maybe I can call someone in Denmark and figure out if there's any way. And he said, well, sure, but you don't have time. So I said, okay, could you just give me 5 minutes? He said, you know what? If we do it like that, I'll put you on a cab because I cannot have that responsibility, or I will put you like ready for surgery. You know, I couldn't think very good here. I couldn't think really clear. I was just thinking, okay, the CFO at the company, maybe he can help me. Maybe we have an insurance. That's the only thing I was thinking. And I said, okay, put me in that bed. I need to figure this out. I borrowed a phone. I tried to call. Nobody took the phone. And the doctor came one morning and said, you know, you don't have any more time. Then suddenly it hit me. I do have a MasterCard. It said, I do have a MasterCard. I don't know how much the limit is, but I think it was a gold or platinum MasterCard that I had from the bank. And I said, you know what? Could we try this? The only thing I was thinking was like, one, maybe it works, maybe it doesn't work. The second thing I was thinking through my mind was, I don't have the money. What will happen if, this is so crazy, you know? I was dying. And I was thinking about, maybe I don't have the money. How crazy is that? How crazy is that? Think about that in your life too. How are you living your life? You know, I ask that question one more. So I was literally dying, thinking, do I have money? Can I solve this? What will the bank say? I had so many troubles with the bank. We tried. He came back. He said, doesn't work. I was just like, fuck man, what can I do? He said, I'm sorry, I cannot take you in if I don't have money. So I said, please, could you try again? And he went away and he came back minutes after. He said, you know, it doesn't work. I said, please let me try. I was crying, I was desperate. I was like, I was hanging in there like I could die. But he was just like, well, I can't do this, sorry. So I said, please, one more time. I know this should work. Could I just please enter the code this time? I entered the code. It went through. So he called up and things went fast. They ripped off my clothes. I was just all naked in a green like surgery thing. There was nothing on it, and was just like everything went fast. It was just like in a movie. I was lying in a hospital bed. I was running through where there was people all over. I was just lying there. The only thing I could think about was, what will happen with the bank and will I live? This is real serious thing. They went fast. Then another guy took the hospital bed and then ran me. There was people all over. I was lying there naked. I was just like, this is crazy. So the other guy, he took me in the elevator, and this is still real thing. Took me up, I don't know what it was, 10th floor or something. And he went out, he looked around. I was there in my hospital bed, and the doors went like this, bing, 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 on the hospital bed. And I felt every time my stomach, my appendix, I think, now I'm gonna die, now I'm gonna die. I couldn't yell, I couldn't do anything. I said, where went the guy? Where was the guy? I don't know how much I lay there, maybe only 5 seconds. It felt like a half hour. Then the guy came back. He took me in the elevator again, and he took me even higher up, I think, or maybe lower down, I don't know. And I was just like, I felt like I was passing out from the pain. And doctors or surgeons, they came, they ran to me, they took the bed, and they put me in a room for the what is called, for the surgeon. Surgeon? Yeah, I think you know what I mean. Okay, so they took me from the hospital bed and put me on the table where they should do the surgery. And there was like 4 or 5 guys in there, 6, and I couldn't see them because they were masked. And then they stood there and they talked. I was lying there all naked. I was like, what are they talking about? Why don't they do anything? And they looked at me, and this is still a real story. They turned me around. For some reason, they put me on the wrong side of the table. And I was like, you gotta be kidding. You gotta be kidding. What is happening here? And then they put something in my bag, and I was out. Suddenly, there was like this calling. And I was like, what's happening here? I was waking up, but I didn't really know what's happening. So that it was my name they tried, my surname, Plushek. They tried to tell it. It came through a speaker. I was in a room and there were people around me, and it was kind of, I don't know, there was a man in the room saying my name, kind of like, okay, I'm awake now. And there was other people lying there, and then they took me into another room where there was me, and then another person. There was a wall, and then another person. Anyway, I had no clue. I had no clue what happened. The person came in, I was just lying there, totally numb in my body. A person came in, spoke to me in Portuguese. And I was like, I have no clue what they're saying. I tried to speak in English, they don't know. I said, could you please get someone in speaking English? The person just left. I don't know how long I lay there, maybe half an hour, maybe an hour. A person came in, even though it was a private hospital, but it's true. And they told me that I went through surgery and the appendix was gone, and I needed to lay there. And I was just like, hey, my daughter has just been born. Nobody knows I'm here. Am I alive, or what's going? Yeah, you're alive. You've just been through surgery. So just wait, and the nurse will come and see you. Okay, I laid there, and I don't know for how long. I couldn't sleep, and I had pain because the medicines stopped working. A doctor, surgeon came in, and here comes another tragic or funny thing. They came in, and they brought a little plastic container, and they said, well, it's all went good. This is your appendix. I'm like, what? So I said, just lie here and it will be here, but you need to carry this. I'm like, I need to go. Nobody knows I'm here, and my daughter's just been born. I can't call them. I need to go. I said, you're not going anywhere, you're staying here. Finally, they came and they get me some fluids and said everything is okay. I said, I need to talk to a surgeon or a doctor because I need to go. I said, get some sleep. I said, I can't get any sleep. And then they drugged me. So I woke up, I don't know how, maybe 6 or 8 hours later. And I tried actually to stand up. This is so crazy. I was just thinking about my daughter. I was just thinking about getting home. Try to stand up, but I just fall. So I fall, and I ripped that, the one with the thing coming down. I ripped that, I fall, and the whole wall, this curtain or whatever it is, that falls. So I fell into another bed lying just beside me on the other side of this wall or curtain. They rang for people, and people come, and they got to me, and then they was like, what are you doing? I said, I need to go to the bathroom. Well, I said, I need to talk with the doctor. The doctor came again, and I said, you know what, I need to go home. And he said, like, well, I can't release you. I said, I need to go home. I said, well, I can't release you. I said, I need to go home. That was the only thing I had in mind. He said, if you're going to sign the papers that it's on your own responsibility and you might die from this, I can send you in a cab home and I'll tell you what to do with your stomach. I said, that's okay, I need to do this. Sweat all over, I was white, I had just had my appendix removed, and it was not a laser surgery. I need to say that, because laser surgery, that would be like, I can't remember. It was double up the price. I couldn't do that at all. So it was an old-fashioned surgery, a cut. It's like you need to stay here for at least a few days. I'll sign anything. I just need a cap, and I need to go home and be with my daughter and my family. So I signed the papers, and the doctor went like this: your appendix, you need to take that with you. I'm like, what? Yeah, that's your responsibility. But you need to be back here in, I can't remember what it was, 5 days or something. I said, I can't do that. I need to fly home and work. He said, you're not going home and working, but you need to stay here for at least a couple of weeks or maybe a month or something. I can't do that. I said, I need to go home and work. I had a job. I had all my troubles of the financial stuff in my mind. He said, you're going to die, man. I just signed the paper, and we agreed that, I think it was 3 or 4 days after, I need to come back, and they looked at it. But I need to bring my appendix. So I took that home with me in a cab. I felt like really shit. I went home, I lied in the bed, and just like 1 hour or 2 hours later, my ex-wife and our daughter and some of the family came, and I was just like lying there, white, sweating, very bad. And I had a list with some drugs, medication I needed to take, and I asked him to go and get that. And I had a newborn kid just beside me. I had my ex-wife in the apartment, and I was just like really bad. I couldn't do anything at all. This is still true story. It was so crazy, so sorry for the language, fucked up. It was fucked up. Just going home and working, just going home and solve my problems. It was a big an issue for me handling my financial situation. Days went by, I did what the doctor told me as good as I understood it. I went to the hospital one more time. He looked at it and he said, I need to remove the stings if you're going to fly, but you're going to sign one more time that I released you from this. The appendix, I will tell you, I'll need to take it in. You're going to sign that I'll take it in, and we'll look at it for you, and then we will contact you by email, because we need to understand if there's any problems with you. Why did you get that infection? As I understood it. So I signed all the papers, and I went home 2 days after something. This was just like 6 days, I don't even think it was that actually, after I got the surgery. It was a 30-hour travel, because I needed to change plane 3 times. 30-hour travel. And I'm not kidding here. I was sweating all over. My stomach was hurting. Being up in that airplane, up in the air, and just had that surgery, I felt like I was exploding. Now, before I left for home, I need to say goodbye to my daughter, and that was so painful. But I only had one thing in my mind, that was going home and working, and it was so crazy. So I looked at her. I didn't know when she would return, because we needed the last papers to be finalized. So yeah, I said goodbye. She looked up at me with her big brown black eyes, and I was just like, my heart was breaking, and still yet I had one thing in my mind: I need to go home to my work. Crazy as it could be. Came home, my mother was in the airport, and she was just like, what is happening? And she didn't know anything. And I said, I'm going to explain when we come home. She said, what's happened? I said, I'm going to explain when we come home. And we went home, and I told her the whole story. She was like, what the hell are you doing? I said, I couldn't do anything. I tried to call people. Nothing worked. I couldn't get a hang on anyone. And still I was so focused on getting up and working. She said, you're not going to work. I said, I'm going to work. She said, you're not going to work. I said, I'm going to work. And actually, I went to work on that Monday. How crazy is that? I think I was home Sunday or something like that. I went to work the day after. I sat there for an hour, and the CEO, he looked at me from the coffee shop company. He said, you know what? You're not going to work today. I said, what happened? I told him very shortly. He said, no, you're going to visit the doctor right now. Went to the doctor. This mindset of mine at that time, it was only one thing, was just work, solve my problem. Big debt, I needed to solve it. I was so focused on it. So I went to the doctor, and the doctor said, you know what? You need to relax. You just had an operation. This is a big thing. This is just a small operation. You need to relax for at least a month. I said, no, it will not happen. I need to work. I need to do my stuff. And she told me, you know, there's only two things you can do here. Either you tell me you're going home and you come back in 2 weeks and tell me how you are, or I will like put you in straps or whatever it's called and bring you to the hospital. There's no other thing. I cannot take that responsibility because you could die still. It's a new operation. And I said, okay, then I'm going home. And I went home and I took my time. I felt so bad. I felt so bad because I felt bad of not being there and working. What's happening? 1 second here. Interesting. That was the iPad talking. And also I felt bad about the whole situation. I was so freaking stressed up on the whole thing. Call me stupid, that's okay, because I was. But the big thing here for me with all of this story is actually to share it with you. I know it's a little bit long here, and it's all true. It's all true. I had a big debt and I wouldn't give up. I was struggling with the finances. I was just in very bad energy. I was so frightened. I was so shameful. I uploaded other videos about my story, and there will be even more hardcore videos. Go check them out. I'll put some of them in the description below. And please, I know this is long, but do, if you like this, give it a like. If you want to, please subscribe to my channel and also hit the bell. So click on the bell so you know that when I release new videos. Now, the biggest thing for me here with the whole story here is it is true. It did happen, like I just explained it. I was so stressed. But that time also was kind of a way for me to think a little bit more about it, to have some time to just relax a little bit more. My energy was very low. It was full of shame, of fear, of guilt, of so much things. So I had to fight even harder. That's a big thing about the conscious growth. That is that if we are in those energies, bad energies, we just need to fight even more. Life is harder. I'm not going to explain that here. But the big thing for me is, first of all, what are our priorities? You know, we never know when it's over. We never know when it's over. You never know if you wake up tomorrow. Probably and hopefully you'll do. But the thing is, you don't know, right? So yeah, enjoy life. I know this is very simple to say, and a lot of people say this, but do it. I mean, if we work very hard and focus, there's no bad thing in this, but we also just need to make sure if you were working clever too. I mean, if I had been clever, I went off to Brazil, but I would have checked if the insurance would pay it. I would have checked if the company insurance would pay it. I would have checked those things. But that wasn't smart of me. I wasn't prepared. I was stressed by my situation, and I was also not stressed, but very excited about having a kid. So check these things. But again, also the priorities, because, well, our family, the people around us, the people we love, sometimes maybe we should think what's most important for me in my life right now, right? Because it could be over. Could be over. And this is not the only experience I had that was very close to death, and maybe I'll share some other ones. But it was insane. It was very, very insane. Think about it. Think about it. Are you doing things the hard way or the easy way? How much money do you want before you're happy? What is it actually you want to do here while you are here? Right? Think about these things. Because I was there. I was there. So, I know it was long. And I don't really know all that I said because it just came. I trust you felt the energy if you're still listening to this. I do have a community. You're welcome to check it out. I also coach people on different levels. You're welcome to check it out. Just go below and check out in the description. And really sit and think. If you've got people around you and you're still watching this, go look them in the eyes and just say, I love you. And I mean that. Just say I love you to these people like you're not here tomorrow. Do it with that energy. I'm gonna give some very powerful videos about this, but I'm not kidding here, right? We got each moment, and we don't know when the next moment, if it's gonna be there or not. We don't know if the people we love, they're going to be there or not. I'm not saying this for any bad stuff, no, exactly. I'm saying it for really, really appreciate life, appreciate the moments. And feel free to comment anything that comes to you right now. And also feel free to actually think about a person that you just want to give a hug. Think about your spouse, your kids, your mother, father, best friend, whatever. Give them a big hug and just say, I love you. And then comment below who are you going to do this with. So yeah, I'm out from this video. I wish you a great day. I really hope you enjoyed it if you're still here. And yeah, feel free to connect with me. Be awesome.